Today I'm going to be replacing the fuel sender unit in this LandRover Series 3, and it wouldn't be that much of a difficult job really if it wasn't for the fact that this part comes in two halves and they supply some funny little clip things that are meant to join it together. So the one we've got to replace is down here. First thing I've got to do, take the seat out and let's get at it. Next, I've got to remove this metal cover plate. Okay, that's what we're looking for. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It looks like it's going to fit, except we've only got one connection on here, and there's two on this one. 3 in fact. Doesn't look like those are going to come out easily, does it? They're actually screws. I thought they were bolts. Okay, so there it is. It's actually seized solid. That should be moving like that. So I'm going to try first, see if I can unseize it and see if I can get it working again. It's easier than fitting the new one. Oh, there you go, it's come loose. Right. Attach some power to that now, let's see if it works. First of all, have a check if I've got any power in the cable. So I've attached there to earth to the key. This is the cable, and that's okay, we've got power to the cable. So let's connect that to here. And then we've got to earth it. There's the fuel indicator. We've got this, working this, nothing's happening. Let's try the new one. Okay, this is the new one, plugged in. There you go, you can see the fuel gauge going up. Okay, so this one doesn't work, so we're going to have to use the new one. So the first thing I've got to do is we're going to make this the same length as that. So I think first of all I've got to cut the end off this piece of wire. I've got these baby bolt croppers for that job, and even at that it's pretty tough. And there I've got those two to size. Next thing I've got to do is cut this down to that sort of length. What a fiddle. That's the sort of length we need, but I think it'll be a good plan, instead of cutting this off here, I'll actually bend this up, and then I think that will, if you don't do that, I think this end can just spin round like that. So if I bend that end up onto there, it'll stop that doing that. Okay, so I've got that lined up there, the wire and the end of that. That's the length I want. I'm coming along now, and I'm going to mark where that first bend is there. I'm going to bend that. I may even take this all the way up to there. Now this sits in the top of the tank like that. So what I've got to make sure is that I bend this in the right direction, because that float needs to be sat like that in the tank, not like that. Okay, that's the first bend. Just going in line with that one. Going to mark this one here next and bend that like that. And that one, there's that one. When we clip those to that, there, that won't be able to twist sideways like that. And in fact, I'm having so much fun with this, I'm going to bend it one more time. It's quite a tight bend, that one. It's a 90 degrees. So I'll just finish it off with the pliers. There we go. Got to fix those together now. Okay, this is where it gets tricky now. So you get a gasket, and then also in here you get these tiny little C-shaped things that you're meant to clip those two wires together with. But there's no instructions, so let's see what happens. Right, this is such a fiddle. Trying to see if I can super glue them together just to hold them straight. Okay, so I just put a little blob of super glue on there and another bit on there just to hold it still whilst I play with it. So I'm just going to clamp it flat in the vise now. And try and figure out how I get these little tiny things that won't even focus on there. I'm going to go back to trying to slide them on. So first of all, I have to take the little float off the end. That just pops out. Right, so I've slid it on. There it is. And it's hooked over the top one. So what I'm going to try and do now is to just force it over with the pliers. Oh, that seems to have gone. And that slides up and down now. Right, so I think if I put all the other ones on and then move them into different positions. Hey, okay, that's one more. Clip them on like that. Clip it over the top like that, and then very carefully no, uh-oh, flip it over the top like that. Wonder if it's easier with these ones. That's a bit better. I can see what's happening with those. Okay, that's got them all on here, but they just sort of slide up and down. So this is bouncing about in the fuel tank. I wonder how they're going to stay together. They can't slip forwards because I've taken this curve in and I've done that bit as well. I can get one round there, so I suppose it can't slip off. Right, I think I'm going to try and just get a little blob of solder to stick, just to hold them in position. Let's have a go at that. I don't know whether it will stick to this stuff or not. Just let that cool off, see if it's stuck to it. Right, well there you go, I think that's got it. Seems to have come through at the back there. So if I do that on all of them, here's the position. I've got one here, one there, one there. And I've got one up here, one that's going on that corner, and one on this part here. So I'll just carry on and put those little blobs of solder onto that. Now, it's not going to win any beauty prizes, but you can see it has gone around the clip there and around there. So if I do that on all 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 of them, 6, then that'll be good. In case you're wondering what I'm using, this is just standard flux and solder that plumbers use for soldering pipes together. Plenty of flux, and that helps the solder to flow when it melts. So there you are, that's what we've ended up with, and I'm quite pleased with that, nice and strong. Let's go and stick it in the car. So we put the little float back in carefully, don't puncture it. It's back on there now, and it sits inside like that. And so there it is, connected. There's another connection on this one, that's in case you have a a low fuel level warning light on yours. I don't, so that's not connected to anything. And this here, this is now earthed through these screws into the tank, but if you can also earth it from there and bring it a wire over here somewhere to the bodywork to earth that. So let's see if it's working. Okay, so that's it. Let's see if it works. Ignition on. I don't expect this to be too dramatic because there's hardly any fuel in it, but as long as it moves, oh, there it goes, we're in business. Happy days. Hope that's been useful. Thanks for watching. See you next time.